What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode number 138 of Park to Prem here with Towel or Town. Today, it's one of those fixtures that you dream about. When you're a wee boy managing in the 10th tier of English football, you dream of the Champions League knockout stages, you dream of trips to Barcelona. That is what we have today in the quarterfinals. Now, it's really getting towards the crunch point of the season. Of course, we've won the EFL Cup this year. We are still in the Champions League. We are still in the FA Cup. And as you can see, we've got some big games left in the Premier League. And if we were to win every single one of them, we would win the Premier League. That's a fact. So let's just win every game. It's simple as that. Although, when you look at recent form, maybe it's not so simple. We have not won in our last 4 league games, including one since you were last here. This is normally where I would show you the highlights. But it finished 0-0 and it was a really, really boring game. So, yeah, Crystal Palace, they held us firm. You can see Shvetsov and Turnbull still the 2 top goal scorers in the league. Leskinen really high on the average ratings. This is the league table. We have drawn our last 4 games in a row. We now trail Man City by 5 points. They've only got 6 games left. We've got 1 game in hand, and we do still have to play them. That said, the games against Liverpool and Manchester United are also looming over us. And as you may have caught on the fixture screen, over in the FA Cup, we have been drawn against Liverpool. So, not an easy draw there. That will be coming your way in tomorrow's episode. And I will say now, expect over the weekend a bonus upload or 2. We've got so many games coming up in quick succession. I feel like we may be able to get a few double uploads going. I don't want to speak too soon, but I may be making a promise now for 1 or 2 double uploads. Anyway, don't get your hopes up too much, but one will happen. Anyway, that's kind of everything there is to talk about besides some youth updates. Now, one thing that I would really like to start doing is every episode just shining a torch, shining a spotlight on one young player to keep an eye out for. And, the player I'm going to pick today is Christian Falk Peterson, a player we signed last year from Mould for £575,000. He joined us in the summer of this year, and in his first year at the club, he's had a really, really good breakthrough season. You can see he's got 20 goals for us in youth games in the league, in the UEFA Champions Youth Competition, 8 goals, 7 goals in 3 appearances in the Leasing.com trophy, which I'm regrettably going to have to inform you we lost 3-2. Yes, our under-20, they gave such a good performance, but it wasn't enough. You can see in this competition, Falk Peterson was the top goal scorer, and at 18 years old, he's now made his debut for the Norwegian national team and played pretty blooming well. He's an incredibly well-rounded player. I would love his composure to be a little bit better. But besides that, he almost looks like he could be a 5th-choice striker next season. Perhaps a loaning out would be better. Also, he attempts overhead kicks. What is there not to love about this guy? I feel like he's got so many things going in his favour. £575,000, that suddenly feels like an incredible piece of business. Anyway, we have had our youth intake, and it's been not the greatest, not the worst as well. I feel like we've been pretty blessed with some youth intakes over the years, and I don't want to say the last few have been a disappointment, but when you consider that Lucas Pluck was the best of the bunch last year, there are a few question marks to be raised. It is important, I guess, to remember that with his potential being 3-star and 1 extra black star on the end, that is relative to our team. I feel like it's very easy to look at a player like this and go, he's never going to be good enough. If he was to reach his potential of just 3 stars, that would put him ahead of the likes of Bubalo. Now, Bubalo, of course, one of our big hot prospects, but this guy is 19 years old now. Look how good he is. I mean, any player who has 2.5-star potential ability realistically could be a regular starter for a Premier League team. So when you shift the lens at which we look at our youth team, suddenly there's quite a lot of reasons to be optimistic. I feel like we've got a lot of players here who can hopefully make a splash on the big stage. Anyway, in terms of the pick of the bunch, Brereton, I'm just going to bring him up now because he's done quite well. He was actually part of last year's intake, a player who wasn't that highly rated by my scouts, but over the first year of him being at the club, he's gone up in their estimations. And that's one thing to really remember as well, is when players first generate at the club, the staff don't have that greater a knowledge with them because they've just appeared, so they can be wrong in their assessments. So let's hope that they're wrong in our assessments, and a few of the youngsters that we have here are going to be good for us. So we have a new Italian goalkeeper. Maybe he's going to be the next Gianluigi Buffon. We have Pierre Charette, who is a very good player. He's got 14 handling, 14 reflexes, really well-rounded technicals, to be fair, for a 16-year-old. Great personality, good potential as well, could be one for the future. Also, He loves to get the crowd going. We love to see that. We love to see that, Pierre. Hopefully, he will be donning the Town Hall Town shirt in a leasing.com trophy match in a few years' time. In terms of other players who have joined us as part of our intake, we've got players like Sam Spearman. He's got really good defensive attributes, and that's kind of that, although he is very, very consistent. We've got Alex Soares here who, I mean, ignore the grey stars, look at the potential. He's a Australian player, interesting little midfielder. Actually, to me, looks like he could be a really good ball-playing centre-back. He's got good heading, although his jumping reach is a bit rubbish. Maybe I take it back. Naturally fit, though. I mean, is that a silver lining? I'm not really sure. In terms of a few other players we've got coming through, there's some here that I feel like are kind of unfairly judged. You've got players like Mameli here who, I mean, maybe he could be good enough for Italian in this year's intake. There was a hint of Italian in the air, apparently, in Town Hall this intake. Noel Verden, you can see here I've got his training set up. He is 17 years old, really, really consistent. His current ability and potential ability were way better before we actually signed him, so I'm curious to see what can become of him. You can see, as a pressing forward on defend, he's actually pretty good. He's a super well-rounded player. If we can teach him how to walk without falling over and improve that balance, and he can just improve a little bit across the board, I do feel like he could be quite a good player. He has got a weird-shaped polygon, though, hasn't he? Now, he looks like a wing-back when you look at that. Could he play wing-back? It's not quite box-to-box midfielder anymore. It's, can he play wing-back? Could he play wing-back? I actually feel like I might train him to play wing-back. Is that a mad idea? He's just really well-rounded. He could probably play anywhere. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but he could play a few different positions. Do I want to train him in a new position? I'm not sure if he's ever going to be an amazing goal scorer, and I'm just sat thinking he's got good natural fitness, decent acceleration, stamina, work rate, and teamwork are good. Decent first touch, no obvious gaps in his game, especially defensively. You know what? Noel, you're a wing-back. I've decided he's going to have a shock when he turns up for training tomorrow morning, and we've completely changed up his schedule. But you can see the rest of the players here. There wasn't a ton of super standout players, but maybe one or two who will reappear in the future. Worth noting a few players on trial as well that you can spot here. These are players who generated as free agents. We have given them the Shvetsov treatment. We have agreed to sign them. They will join us officially when they turn 18, although they are on trial. Fritz here is apparently a striker. I can't control his training until he gets here. I mean, is anyone looking at this and going striker? Because I'm sat looking at it going, maybe centre-back. I mean, maybe we could convert him into one of those old-school players who could play centre-back and as a striker. I'm now struggling to come up with an example. Did Dale Dumblin once play centre-back? Am I wrong? Am I right? I don't know. Anyway, Jambor, another player who generated as a free agent, Czech under-21 international, really consistent, doesn't look like a bad player at all. And also, Raul Oyex, who's another striker, another Swiss striker, has the same last name. Yes, we have two Oyexes. They're not related, Fritz and Raul. But interestingly enough, they are both players who play as strikers who don't really look like strikers. I don't think this guy's a centre-back, but I do feel like he could be a deep line. Could he be a deep line playmaker? His vision's a bit rubbish. I mean, I look at him and I go box-to-box midfielder. Am I mad? He's got 5 finishing and 5 off the ball and 8. He's not a striker. You're not a striker, Raul. I know you were named after a striker, but you're not one, okay? Okay, I've got that out of my system. I feel better now. Shall we get into today's game? We are taking on Barcelona. As I have already alluded to, we are actually missing a few players, unfortunately, today. Soretta is out injured, so at centre-back we have a few issues. Maticevic is coming back from an injury. He is available for 75 minutes today. Elsewhere on the pitch, we are just about at full strength. We have recently had an international break. It's worth noting that Dylan Turnbull scored a load of goals against India in a friendly. He's now got 20 goals in 16 appearances for England. And in my continuing quest to give Town Hall Town players unwarranted international caps, Steve Norman's been given 2 caps. He's got 3 goals for England, so I don't know, maybe I need to start playing him a little bit more. I will say now, he has really not wowed me in any competition he's played in. But you can't help but look at Steve Norman's attributes and go, he's really blooming good. I know a lot of you are really, really excited about Cancina, who's been on loan at Juventus this year and continues to improve. When you actually compare him and Steve Norman, there's not a great deal of difference between them, I feel like, in terms of overall ability. You know, they're similar players but different players at the same time, if that makes any sense. I guess they both rely on their speed. But, no, I feel like Norman, he's not had a great year this year, but give him time. He could be Mateus Aurelio number 2, Electric Boogaloo. Either way, he is on the bench for today's game. But in terms of the team, it's pretty much full strength besides the fact Soretta's unavailable. So, with that in mind, we are bringing in Roger McCassie to play centre-back. Yes, finally he gets to play his natural position. I bet he never thought he'd see the day. To be honest, besides his lack of heading and a bit of a lack of aggression, he's a very, very good, powerful centre-back. So I'm confident he can do the business for us today. And well, let's dive into the first match. We are taking on Barcelona. It's at home. Let's be rock solid at the back. Let's score 4 or 5. Let's enjoy ourselves mainly, though. And, well, we are favourites for this game, which I think is a testament to the overall strength of our squad. Barcelona's media prediction in La Liga this year was first. They currently sit in third in their league. If we just have a quick look at their team, we looked at Mastro Pietro last episode. He's a pretty good centre-mid, although he's no Andre, as we discovered. Up top, they've got Ferreira, who, I mean, he's a very good striker with great consistency and enjoying of big matches. But he's not world class. Is that harsh? Let's just compare him to Shvetsov. I feel like you have to look at these players relative to our own, you know? You know what? Let's compare him to Steve Norman. I mean, I know which player I would rather have. Norman, you're getting the nod. They've got Angel out on the left. He's very good, actually. I like the look of this guy. 20 agility. Get him on Ninja Warrior. Out on the right, they've got Amaral as well, who is another very, very pacey winger. He's quite good, isn't he? Right, I'm looking in the wide areas. I feel like that's where the test is going to be for us today. Mateus Aurelio and Rout. Show us what you can do. And I am aware people have commented on the fact that every day I change Nico's pronunciation. That our right back. Is it Rout? Is it Rote? I don't know. I ask people to suggest pronunciations that are correct. And what ends up happening is people write the phonetic pronunciation completely differently. So I end up with like 3 or 4 different ways to say it. Normally, I just alternate between them. Or at least that's what I've done in the case of Nico. I'm realising now, maybe we should just nickname him Nico and just leave it there. It's quite a badass name, I feel like, for a right back. Anyway, can we get a win here? I'm talking about nicknaming my right back. We're playing blooming Barcelona, Jack. Get your head in the game. You got get your head in the game. Whoa! Please don't score, Growl. Sorry, High School Musical just comes to my mind when I get nervous. Mastro Pietro to Amaral. They're looking for this overlap, and it's Rio. Does he need pick it up in the morning? Absolutely not. He's whipped in, and Angel scored. Why did I make a Rio joke? I need picking up in the morning at this rate. They're 1-0 up. It's the first real chance of the game for either team. Pep Rio, what a name that is. Whips it back post. Who is it who leaps for it? Is it McCassie? It is McCassie. He's got 10 heading and 10 aggression. Needs to be more forceful in the heading attempt there. I know some people are going to say, Jack, why have you gone attacking against Barcelona here? We're the favourites. We're at home. I don't want to roll on my back or curl up in a ball and just kind of take a pounding and then try and hit them on the break. I want to go for the throat. I want to pin them to the ground. I want to win convincingly, and that's not going to happen in this first half. It's 1-0 with only a couple of minutes left of this first half. There's not been any highlights. There's not been any chances. It's been a very even game. 61% of possession in our favour. That means absolutely bugger all if you don't do anything with it. Going to tell the players that I'm not happy, but I've got faith in them. You know, I want to keep that confidence building. Let's see what we can do here in this second half. You do wonder, at what point do I start to make some tactical or personnel changes? Andy Eric's just got an injury, right? We'll wait for that to kick in. Is it a bad injury? Potential lower leg injury. That's usually pretty bad. I mean, it could be like a calf strain, but I'm thinking it could be a bruised shin as well, I suppose. Let's bring in Volta for him. I feel like Volta doesn't get the praise that he deserves. He's a player who, really, his development has gone under the radar. But when you look at him, as far as backup advanced playmakers go, he's very blooming good at 21 years old, isn't he? So we'll bring him in. I'm actually going to make a controversial change here. I am taking off Dylan Turnbull. Steve Norman is coming on, a player who has not put in the performances on the pitch. Although he has scored twice in recent matches, so maybe he can do it again for us today. Ball is in. McCassie trying to make amends for his missed header before. Unfortunately, that effort there blazed over the bar, and we could be called into some defensive action as the throw-in in front of the gazebo takes place. We get rid of the ball once. We get rid of the ball twice. Volta, what can you do? Shvetsov's 360 no-scoping people with some weird pirouette. Mateus Aurelio on the overlap. Poor pass by Shvetsov, actually, and well, there's a big battle going out on that far side for the ball, and ultimately Barcelona going to come away with it. Angel, the goal scorer, plays it down to Vincent. He's on a booking there, left back. Can we prevent him getting the ball in? He pulls it to João Felix, who must be getting on a little bit here. Ball pulled to the edge of the box to Mastro Pietro, the player who I said wasn't as good as Andre pre-game. Let's hope he's not heard that. I feel like he might have a point to prove. Although, pass is misplaced. Volta, where are you going? Run like the wind, Volta. Run like the wind, Volta. It's his first goal of the year. He points to the name on the back of the shirt. He does a roly-poly. I did not know he had that in his locker. Where did that come from? He wins the ball, he snatches it away, and then he just runs like a bullet through the middle, cuts open their entire team, and slots it home with cool, calm, and collected confidence. Some lovely alliteration there. And, well, we're back in the game. Let's get shouty. The sub has worked wonders. Bigged him up as an advanced playmaker. He's come on and shown me what he's all about. Matasevic on a booking, not having the best of games. We're going to take him off. I'm going to bring in Kevin Kaiser, who made his debut for the Dutch national team in the latest international break, which was superb. He's a very one-dimensional player in terms of I can't really rely on him to do a job going forward. So we're going to move him to deep line playmaker. And Jarno Leskinen, my little Finnish friend, you are going to go into Mazzala for us. It's the old Andre and Leskinen centre-mid duo. It's re-linked up. And well, 3 minutes left. Could we get that one last goal that we need? The ball headed away to Rio. I'm not making the joke again. I mean, the joke wasn't funny the first time, but it also resulted in a goal, so I feel like it's bad luck. Vincent bringing it forward on this left-hand side. Gives it inside to Angel. He has it. Now lays it to Grau. I mean, 1-1 would not be a bad first leg performance. If we do concede a second goal here, we could be in trouble. Given how this game's gone, though, you would anticipate us to be the team having a chance here. And while Volta picks it up, squares it, Shvetsov, get in there, my son! 37th goal of the year. Volta, where have you been all this season? Where have you been all this year? That ball is absolutely incredible. He picks up the ball in a not dissimilar area to the previous goal. This time he dribbles wide. Shvetsov times his run to perfection. He sneaks it in. Volta's ball, superb, into that corridor of uncertainty. The keeper didn't commit to come out for it. Shvetsov nips in, gets a goal. Tidy finish. 2 minutes left. Just blow the whistle, ref. We don't need to play the last 2 minutes of extra time. They already scored one goal from this wide area. Nico puts in a superb tackle. It's now with Stevie Norman. He's quick. He's also intelligent. Look at the ball to Volta, who has run the show here. I mean, he's hit a guy in a wheelchair behind the goal. That was an awful effort. That was an awful effort. Although there could be more. Maybe that was just the little appetizer. That was the Volta in that last highlight that I kind of expected to see this year. 45 seconds left of this game. We're randomly being shown a goal kick. I mean, as long as we don't give them the ball here, you would think this game is done now with just 20 seconds left. Mateus Aurelio in front of the gazebo to Makassi. I will say in the absence of Soretta, we've looked pretty good at the back. Nico, the left back, bringing it forward. This feels like a pointless highlight, but there is a small part of me that hopes we could get a goal still. Norman gets on the end of... nearly gets on the end of it. Not quite that quick. But it doesn't matter. We get a win. Volta, man of the match. He came on in the 56th minute and he changed the game. What an incredible, incredible performance. I did not know he had that in him. You know, he's had a few pretty average years at the club being a backup player for us. This year he's done absolutely nothing, although he has got a 6.69 average rating in the league. Nice. But on the big stage, he's turned up big. And, well, that's what we need big players to do. Hopefully that can kickstart his career. What an incredible little performance. We get a win against Barcelona at home, only conceding the one goal as well. That puts us in a great little spot going into the second leg. Not quite a clean sheet, but considering how we responded, having conceded a goal early on, I'm pretty blooming happy with that. And Luis Enrique says it's a disappointing result to swallow. And I'd agree. 2-1 is not easy to swallow. You can see here, Juventus beaten 3-0 by Milan. That is not a good result there. Andy Eric, a gashed lower leg, out for between 8 days and 2 weeks. Unfortunately, he won't be available. But, well, his injury was a blessing in many ways. It gave me the excuse, I suppose, to bring on Volta. And I now feel quite confident bringing him on for the second game as the starter in the absence of Andy Eric. in a little over a week's time. Anyway, we have got one game against West Brom in the meantime. Hopefully we can get a win, because we've not had one of those in almost 2 months in the league. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Let's get that win. Let's get to the Barcelona game. We're going for an away date. It's going to be at the Camp Nou. And, well, we go into it with a very good little lead. Okay guys, so we are back here for the second game of today's episode. It's the return leg against Barcelona away from home. This is not going to be easy, but hopefully we're going to come out on top. Of course, we've put ourselves in a great position to do that with a 2-1 win in the first leg. Worth noting, in the other semi-finals, Manchester City and Bayern Munich marching on. Meanwhile, Milan taking that 3-goal lead from the previous game into a home game, which you would half expect them to win. So, pressure is on, and the task is very much laid out ahead of us. In terms of team news for today's game, the good news is we are pretty much at full strength. Yes, Soretta is back in the team. McCassie, who should just be on positional instructions of Mazzala, is going to be slotting in. Unfortunately, you can see here, Andre picked up a little injury. Though he doesn't need a fitness test, I feel like it's not worth risking him. His condition really isn't very good, 71%. If we get very desperate, we'll throw him in, but it is going to be Roger McCassie needed there. Volta is going to play up top. You can see Andy Eric. Did he pass a fitness test? He did just about, but again, I really don't feel like it's worth risking it with these players, to be honest. Obviously, it would be great to have them, but the reality is with 71 condition in the case of Andre and just 83% in the case of Andy Eric, they're not going to last more than half a game, and I don't really want to be using 2 subs at half-time unnecessarily. Soretta is back, which is the main thing, and we do come off the back of a confidence-building win. That was a 4-0 victory against West Brom. You can see a variety of goal scorers here, and yeah, just a very good performance on the whole. Turnbull with a goal, Mateo Radio doing his thing, a couple of late goals as well. Stevie Norman getting a goal in the 94th minute. You love to see it, hopefully. So he can keep that goal-scoring form going, and well, if he needs to come on off the bench, he can grab one for us. He has 3 goals in our last 5 competitive matches, the English forward, so he's slowly but surely building a name for himself. Anyway, going into this away game, there is definitely a temptation to start on the more counter-attacking system, and you know what? Now that I think about it, I am going to go with the more defensive counter-attacking system. If it doesn't really work out, we will immediately make the switch. Obviously, with this system, it's more about just getting a few more players behind the ball. Turnbull reverts from a complete forward to his pressing forward, going back to his roots, I suppose. And in the midfield, I feel like actually McCassie is going to be a good little addition there. He's extremely good defensively, and you kind of would half expect that we are going to need to do a bit of a job defensively here against Barcelona. Anyway, they got that 1 away goal, so we need to go out there and at least get 1, really, just to help us out. I feel like away goals are just... I don't love away goals in real football, but I feel like, especially when you only concede 1, it can actually put you in a pretty nice position, which is where we find ourselves here. And, well, we're on the attack. Volta, what a game he had last game, and oh my word. I mean, Jackie Auger has just scored an incredible volley, recently capped for the French national team, and the Ogre celebrates amongst the Taulor ultras in the corner. The set piece out on one side, Leskinen heading it back to Mateo Radio. The ball was switched by Volta, and at the back post, Jackie Auger on his left foot. My word, who thought he had that in his locker? 46 million, I was ridiculed for spending on him. Who is ridiculing me now? French international, goal scorer in a Champions League quarter-final, and what a goal it was. And that is that away goal we were talking about. If we were to get a second goal in this game, suddenly Barcelona have to score 4, which really would make things challenging. And it puts me in a position where even if we were to concede 1 or 2, I would still not panic that much, because I know that that 1 extra goal in our favour is just going to bail us out massively. Of course, we've got to acknowledge the fact that Barcelona, they're going to need 3 on the night at the very least to win inside of regular time. So they have to come on to us now, and as they do attack, I feel like our counter-attacking system is really going to start to shine. You can see early on they've had a few more shots than us, they've had 1 clear-cut chance as well, but ultimately we find ourselves ahead and we've looked pretty confident and cool, calm and collected. Rotes, though, getting crowded out in the wide areas. Salcedo passes it back. I mean, they're playing themselves into some trouble here at Barcelona. Eventually it is lumped up and clear. I think that was Soretta there, under the ball, couldn't win the header, and we need to do some defending here in the wide area. Rio, who put in a great performance last game for Barcelona with the ball here. Maticevic puts in 1 tackle, doesn't really work out. Doesn't put in a second, the ball whipped in, and that is a bit of a let-off. I don't know if Morrigan had that attempt covered. But half an hour gone and we're doing okay. Mateus Aurelio to launch one forward and Dylan Turnbull is under it for his 25th of the season. That late goal that we had in the first leg gave us a springboard, and I'll tell you what, we've leapt off that springboard. A little like their keeper didn't leap there, I suppose. We are now 2 goals up on the night, 4-1 up on aggregate. Barcelona, you require 4, my friends. And that feels like a mountain to climb that we really shouldn't be bottling. Whether or not we will bottle it remains to be seen, as well, Barcelona on the attack here. Rio, though, superb tackle made. We've got so many men behind the ball here, defending nice and narrow. Is affording some space in the wide areas, but we've got so many men to deal with any kind of crosses coming in like that. And if we don't deal with the cross, Morrigan is still there to bail us out. And while this game has been one of those matches where we've just taken the 2 opportunities that have come our way, and whilst we've perhaps been on the back foot for periods of this game, ultimately we are, defending well, and I'm jinxing it well. They've scored from a header. Alexandra Ferreira giving them a glimmer of hope. We don't want that. We need to crush their hope. It's 2-1. Ball switched out into this wide area here. Mateus Aurelio didn't really put a great deal of pressure on Angel, and while Morrigan, I mean, it's a tricky cross, right? Because it's into that unknown area, that corridor of uncertainty. But a breakdown in communication for certain between Soretta and Morrigan does afford them a way back into it. And now Mateus Aurelio is injured. I don't want to panic anyone, but our star man is injured with a potential foot injury. We will hope that that is a stubbed toe and nothing more. Could we score here? Shvetsov dinked through an intelligent little free kick. Unfortunately, he couldn't quite get the finish away in the end. It was blocked by the defenders. We have got a corner now, but all the added time is up. It would be a gut punch if we could get a goal now. And well, Turnbull, free header at the near post, heads it over the bar. It's 4-2 at the break. We're in a really good position still because of away goals. They still need a further 3 goals in this game. And if we were to get another, suddenly they need 4. What we do know for certain is there is only going to be 40 minutes left of this game. This match can no longer go to extra time. And you'd have to say now, with an hour gone, we do have 1 foot into the semi-finals. I'm going to take off Shvetsov. He's a little bit tired. He's not been playing particularly well this game. Stevie Norman, the English wonder kid, going to come on. Can he make a name for himself on the big stage, just like Volta did, coming on at a similar point in the game in the first leg? I mean, this first half had loads of chances. This second half is just whizzing by. There is 10 minutes left and absolutely nothing is happening. But you know what? That suits me down to an absolute T. Barcelona still desperately searching for a further 3 goals. And while as they do that, we could look to break. Dylan Turnbull with it. Can he finish it? No, he can't. Diogo Costa in goal for Barcelona clutches onto it. But with 4 minutes left and a set piece here, if they don't score, I think we can say it's game, set and match Towlaw. And what a humongous win this would be. The first leg won 2-1. This second leg currently being led 2-1. And this result here was all started by Jackie Auger, who brings the ball forward slightly uncharacteristically for a centre-back. Now with Macassi, Soretta, wide to Deacon, on off the bench for Aurelio. Can he channel his inner Aurelio? Of course he can. He skips past Vincent, whips it in. And well, unfortunately for us, Volta just heading narrowly over the crossbar. But we're done. It's happening. We're making it to the FA Cup. Not FA Cup. We're already in the FA Cup semi-final. The Champions League semi-final. That's a little bit bigger than the FA Cup, isn't it? Interestingly enough, the question that I was posed yesterday in the comments was, Jack, would you rather win the Champions League or the Premier League? I don't know which I want to prioritise, but it is getting to a point now where I probably do need to look at the competitions and try and work out a priority for them. Mateus Aurelio out for between 8 days and 12 days. You can see we have been drawn against Manchester City in the semi-final. That next game is just 2 weeks away. And due to it, our game against Liverpool has been reshuffled. So if we just have a look here at what is happening. Tomorrow, we are going to come back. And you know what? Tomorrow, I think we are going to do the FA Cup game against Liverpool. We will then double it up with another Brucey bonus episode. A double upload day tomorrow. And we will do Manchester City and Liverpool. And then for your Sunday viewing pleasure, Manchester United, Manchester City again. It's going to be getting very, very serious. We are getting down to crunch time. This weekend is going to have so many huge matches. And hopefully you guys are ready for them. I am nervous. You should perhaps be too if you're a Town Law fan. It's going to be a crazy end to this season, but everything is on the line, and a quintuple is still on the board, I think. Or a quadruple, not a quintuple. We can't win 5. We can win 4 though. The quadruple is on the cards, is what I should really be saying. But anyway, guys, thank you for your support today. What a crazy result that was against Barcelona. A great result over 2 legs. I think we can now sit here and say we are one of the European big dogs. We've got a huge game against Manchester City on the horizon in both the league and the Champions League. But tomorrow, to start with at least, we will be focusing on that FA Cup against Liverpool. And well, I hope to see you guys then. If you've enjoyed today's video, drop a like on it. I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care, enjoy the rest of your Friday. And it is me, Jack, and I will talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.